Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Learn English with Stories. I'm your host, David, and today I have a story for you that will make you think about the invisible limitations we set on ourselves. It's called The Elephant and the Rope, and it carries a powerful lesson about breaking free from mental barriers. So, let's dive into this inspiring tale together. In a small village, there was a famous elephant training camp. Travelers often visited this camp to marvel at the magnificent creatures and learn about how they were trained. One day, a curious traveler named Ethan decided to stop by and see for himself. As Ethan walked through the camp, he noticed something puzzling. The mighty elephants, capable of uprooting trees with their sheer strength, were tied to small wooden stakes in the ground by nothing more than a thin rope. These ropes looked so fragile that Ethan couldn't understand why the elephants didn't simply break free. Curious, he approached one of the trainers and asked, "Excuse me, but why don't the elephants break the ropes and run away? They're so much stronger than this." The trainer smiled and replied, "Ah, that's the thing. When these elephants were very young, we used the same ropes to tie them. At that age, they weren't strong enough to break free. Over time, they accepted that the rope was stronger than them. Now, even though they've grown into powerful creatures, they still believe the rope can hold them." Ethan was stunned. "You're telling me that they're held back by nothing more than a belief?" The trainer nodded. "Exactly. Their minds are conditioned to think they're powerless, even though the reality is very different." The words stuck with Ethan as he continued his journey. He couldn't stop thinking about how the elephants' beliefs kept them trapped, despite their ability to break free at any moment. The next morning, as Ethan sat by the river reflecting on what he'd seen, he realized something profound. The elephants weren't the only ones held back by their beliefs. People, too, often live their lives constrained by mental barriers that no longer exist. They let past failures, fears, and doubts hold them back, even when they have the strength and capability to succeed. Ethan thought about his own life. He remembered times when he had hesitated to take risks or pursue dreams because of fears that seemed overwhelming at the time. But now, he wondered, were those fears as fragile as the rope tying the elephants? He decided to take action and challenge his own mental limitations. He started by making a list of things he had always wanted to do but had avoided because of fear or doubt. One by one, he began to tackle them. At first, it was scary, but with each small victory, Ethan's confidence grew. The more he pushed past his perceived limits, the more he realized how much he had been holding himself back. To further cement the lesson he had learned, Ethan decided to revisit the elephant camp. This time, he wanted to observe not just the elephants but also the trainers' techniques. He noticed how the trainers approached the animals with patience and calm authority, never forcing them into actions, but rather guiding them gently. It made him think about how people approach their own challenges, with frustration and doubt instead of patience and persistence. Ethan decided to talk to one of the younger trainers named Ravi. Ravi was new to the camp and eager to share his perspective. "You know," Ravi said, "it's not just the elephants that are conditioned. Sometimes, as trainers, we also have to break free from our own beliefs about what's possible. When I first started, I thought I could never work with these magnificent animals. But over time, I realized that building trust and understanding is all it takes." Ethan found Ravi's words inspiring. He realized that breaking free from limitations wasn't just about physical strength or courage, but also about building trust. Trust in oneself and trust in the process. He began to incorporate this idea into his life by focusing on small, consistent actions rather than waiting for the perfect moment or the ideal circumstances. Ethan's journey of self-discovery soon became a source of inspiration for others. Back in his village, he started sharing the story of the elephants and their ropes with friends and neighbors. People began to reflect on their own lives, questioning the beliefs that held them back. One evening, Ethan hosted a gathering in the village square. A diverse group of people attended: farmers, shopkeepers, students, and even the village elder, who rarely participated in public events. Ethan stood before them and began, "We all have ropes that hold us back. For some, it's the fear of failure. For others, it's the weight of past mistakes. But what if I told you that these ropes are no stronger than the ones holding the elephants? The power to break free is already within you." He then invited the villagers to share their own ropes. A young woman named Priya spoke first. She had always dreamed of opening a bakery, but believed she lacked the skills and resources. Encouraged by Ethan's words, Priya decided to take a small step. She started baking cakes and selling them at the local market. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and within a year, she opened her own bakery. Another villager, a retired soldier named Arun, shared his struggle with adjusting to civilian life. He felt lost and purposeless. Inspired by Ethan's story, Arun began volunteering at the local school, sharing his experiences and mentoring young students. He found a new sense of purpose and became a beloved figure in the community. Ethan's gatherings grew in popularity, attracting people from neighboring villages. His message was simple yet profound. The only thing holding you back is the belief that you can't. Remember the elephants and their ropes. You're stronger than you think. To spread the message further, Ethan started writing letters to community leaders in nearby towns, sharing the story of the elephants and encouraging them to reflect on the mental barriers within their own communities. Some of these leaders invited Ethan to speak at schools, town halls, and even business meetings. He tailored his message to each audience, emphasizing how breaking free from limiting beliefs could lead to personal and collective growth. One day, Ethan received an invitation to speak at a major conference in the city. The event was focused on innovation and personal development, and the audience included entrepreneurs, educators, and policymakers. Ethan was nervous, but reminded himself of his own journey. "If I let fear stop me now," he thought, "I'd be no better than the elephants tied to their ropes." At the conference, Ethan stood before hundreds of attendees. He held up a thin rope and said, "This is all it takes to hold you back if you let it. But the strength to break free lies within you." His words resonated deeply, and by the end of the event, dozens of attendees approached him to share how his story had inspired them to take action. The story of the elephant and the rope teaches us that the limitations we face are often self-imposed. We let past experiences, failures, or fears dictate what we believe we're capable of, even when those limitations no longer apply. Just like the elephants, we are stronger than the ropes that hold us back. Take a moment to reflect on your life. What are the mental ropes tying you down? Is it fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown? Whatever it is, challenge those beliefs and take the first step toward breaking free. You'll be surprised by how capable you truly are. Learning English can feel the same way. At times, it might seem overwhelming or impossible, but remember, the biggest obstacle is often your belief. Keep practicing, and you'll discover how far you can go. If you found this story inspiring, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need a reminder of their own strength. Together, let's break free from the ropes that hold us back. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, remember, you are stronger than you think. Goodbye and take care.